All right, so you're aiming to crack one of India's toughest exams, JEE 2028. You're probably thinking, where do I even start? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and give you a simple, clear, actionable roadmap for the next 2 years. Let's dive right in.
So you've decided to take on this massive goal. I get it, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But here's the thing, what you need isn't just some vague motivation. You need a mission plan, a concrete step-by-step guide, and that is exactly what we are going to build together, right here, right now.
Before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, I want you to just let this idea sink in. This whole journey, it's not just about passing an exam. The focus, the discipline, the sheer grit you're going to build over these next 2 years, that stuff is going to set you up for your entire future. This is the mindset you need to have from day one.
Okay, here's our game plan. First, we'll define what this mission really is. Then, we'll break down the 2 years into 3 distinct phases: laying the foundation, building your strength, and then the final war. We'll also cover the huge mistakes you absolutely have to avoid, and we'll wrap it all up with the ultimate formula for success.
So let's kick off with Section 1, Understanding the Mission. You know, the biggest mistake students make is treating JEE prep like a 100-meter dash. They go all out, try to do too much too soon, and just burn out. You have to remember, this is a marathon. Pacing and strategy are everything.
So many people fall into this trap, right? They think if they just surround themselves with books for 16 hours a day, they'll get a better rank. But that's not how it works. The real path to success is all about quality. You got to ask yourself every single day, am I studying the right way? Am I being consistent? Do I have a strategy? That's what separates the top rankers from everybody else.
Which brings us perfectly to Phase 1. This is your foundation year, your Class 11. I cannot stress this enough. Everything you do later on is built on the base you create right here in 2026. This isn't just another school year. Think of it as the launch pad for your entire JEE mission.
Now look, I'm not trying to scare you with this slide, but you have to understand this critical reality. Most students don't lose the race in the final few months. They lose it right here, in the very first year. Why? Because they don't take Class 11 seriously, and they end up with a weak foundation that is almost impossible to fix later. We are not going to let that be you.
So where do you even begin? Think of these topics as the main pillars of your foundation. In physics, if you can nail kinematics and Newton's laws of motion, the more complex topics later on just click into place. In chemistry, the mole concept is basically the language of the entire subject. And trust me, without a rock-solid grip on chemical bonding, organic chemistry will feel like a nightmare. And for math, trigonometry isn't just one chapter, its formulas pop up everywhere, especially in calculus. The goal here is not speed, it's about deep, unshakable understanding.
To really nail this foundation year, you need a set of rules to live by. These are your 4 golden rules. 1. Never ever let a backlog get older than 3 days. 2. Aim for 5 to 6 quality hours of study, not just time in a chair. 3. Start making short, crisp notes from the very first day. And 4. Make Sunday your dedicated revision day. Simple, right? But incredibly powerful if you stick to them. All right, moving on to Phase 2, the strength building year. You've laid the foundation, and now it's time to build the rest of the skyscraper. The competition gets fiercer, the syllabus gets harder, and your strategy has to level up too.
Your number 1 mission for Class 12 is totally non-negotiable. You have to finish the entire syllabus by December. That gives you a crucial 3 to 4 month runway for some serious revision. And within that syllabus, you got to zero in on the heavy hitters. In physics, electricity and magnetism makes up a massive chunk of the paper. For chemistry, organic is often the real rank decider. And in math, calculus is the absolute backbone of the exam. Mastering these is how you get a serious competitive edge.
And now we introduce a new weapon into your arsenal, the mock test. You're going to start with 1 full syllabus test every single week. Now the goal here isn't just about chasing a high score. It's about building the mental stamina to sit for a 3-hour exam, getting used to the pattern, and learning how to think clearly when you're under pressure.
But listen, just taking the test is only like 30% of the work. The real magic, the real learning happens after the test is over. You have to analyze every single mistake you made. Ask yourself, was this a concept I didn't know? A stupid calculation error? Or did I just run out of time? Then, you have to fix that weakness within 48 hours. This cycle of give, analyze, fix, that is what turns all your hard work into a top rank.
And now we enter the final phase, those last few months right before the exam, this is the final war. And your focus has to shift big time. It becomes less about learning new stuff and all about perfecting your performance for the big day. In these last months, your 3 main targets are speed, accuracy, and time management. You already know the concepts, right? But now it's all about execution. You build speed by solving paper after paper under timed conditions. You boost your accuracy by double-checking your work and spotting your common error patterns. And you master time management by learning exactly which questions to attack first. These are the skills that actually win you marks on exam day. Your whole approach just has to become more tactical. On the left, you've got passive learning. On the right, active, smart learning. So instead of just rereading theory, you should be solving previous year questions to find your real weak spots. You need to treat your NCRT books like the Bible, especially for inorganic chemistry. So many questions come directly from there. And finally, don't just solve one type of problem over and over. You have to actively hunt for different varieties so you're ready for whatever they throw at you.
Okay, let's talk about something critical. The traps that can totally derail even the smartest, most hardworking student. Knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. Think of this as your guide to avoiding self-sabotage.
And here they are, the 5 biggest dream killers. Number 1, ignoring your Class 11 syllabus. It's like building a skyscraper on a cracked foundation. Number 2, collecting way too many books. It just creates confusion and anxiety. 3 and 4 are a pair. Skipping mock tests or, even worse, taking them but not analyzing them. That's like flying blind. You never learn from your mistakes. And finally, just studying new stuff without revising the old. It's like filling a leaky bucket. All that hard work just drains away.
So we've covered the what and the how, but what's the philosophy behind it all? What's the core code that really powers a JEE champion? Let's boil everything we've talked about down into one ultimate formula.
And here it is. Success in JEE isn't really a measure of your raw intelligence. It's the product of these 3 things working together every single day. It's the discipline to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's the consistency to just show up day after day for 2 whole years. And it's the smart work to make sure all that effort is pointing in the right direction.
So what does that formula actually look like on a day-to-day basis? Well, this chart is a fantastic blueprint. Notice the balance, equal time for all 3 subjects. But look closer. Equally important is that dedicated time for revision. That daily revision and formula practice is the glue that makes all the new knowledge actually stick. This is how you turn a vague idea like consistency into a real, unbreakable daily habit.
I want you to let this be your guiding star through this whole journey. It is a simple but incredibly powerful promise. This journey is long and yeah, it's going to be tough. There will absolutely be days you want to quit. But if you can just hold on to that thread of consistency day in and day out, the results aren't just a possibility, they're pretty much an inevitability.
And that brings us to the end of our roadmap. The plan is laid out, the strategy is clear. The only thing left in the equation is you. So the final message is as simple as it gets. The perfect time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. So start today. No more excuses. Your future self is going to thank you for it.